if you have the confidence in your ability of your team to survive it, doing the heavy travel at the front end of your schedule can be a really good thing. It can also be very, very difficult when we think about our just the past 2 years, the number of trips that we make early in the season. But I think we've got a strong group. Physically, we're used to the grind now. We know our schedule, like we handle those pretty well, but it can be a challenge.
And looking at this trip, 2 back-to-backs, obviously a chance to see both goaltenders. How happy are you right now just with the tandem?
Yeah, I mean, it's timed right in some ways. I think it takes younger goalies. 25 is usually the turn. Spencer's well under that and playing very, very well. You need both guys. And it gives us the best chance to win in the future to have 2 goaltenders in some ways in their prime in terms of either one freshness, the other experience. They've timed it out well.
You're going to a place, obviously, it's going through some things in Southern California.
Yeah.
With all that, I think the LA Kings are playing their first game tonight.
Right.
Since the fires. I don't know.
Everybody's got a role, right? And for us, possibly, we can be a distraction. Just a few hours where you get to go to a game, and if you're a hockey fan, something you love to take your mind. I'm sure there's people at that game that have lost everything, possibly, lost their homes, and certainly don't know where this goes in the future for them. And so that's our role, whether the visitor or the home team. When we have an opportunity to maybe lift some spirits, we want to make sure we do that and acknowledge what those people are going through.
And today, Aaron Ekblad not out there.
No, but skated this morning, it was better, so we're pretty excited about that. He comes in when he comes in. The idea would be this road trip, that's what we think is going to happen. We'll see how he is tomorrow, but he had a better day today than he thought he was going to, and we don't think we're that far off. I'm still not sure about tomorrow, though.
Forsling?
Oh, yeah, all good for tomorrow, yeah.
Coach, Mackie Sampson, since you've moved him to the Bennett line,
Yeah.
what have you seen from him? And I know it's only been a few games, but just your thoughts on him.
Really like his game. I like the line, too. I don't want to divert the answer to the question, but he's Sam Bennett. We have about plus 19 in chances in the last 2 or 3 games, which is a big, big number. Mackie's been physical on that line, so Sam's doing some skating and shooting and passing, and Mackie's doing some banging. Sometimes these young players need to find the right mentor, and I don't know the coach picks them sometimes. It's the right guy, personality, sit beside on the bench, who encourages them, every player on our team would explain hockey differently to you. They have their own hockey experience and the words that they would use. Sometimes you get a young guy. I think he and Sam have something. Sam's a hard driving, grinding guy, but I'm sure just in conversations, the message is make your plays, like play your game. And for a young player to get it from a veteran player, especially kind of a grizzled veteran guy who does hard things, he's not barking at the kid. So there's something there. That line is really intriguing. And you can see it in practice. When you get 3 guys out there together that are excited to play together, they want to practice together, and they want to go and practice, and they're pushing the pace. So I'm really happy with where Sam is in terms of his progression and the rate of that curve. He's really, in the last 2 or 3 weeks, looks faster, looks stronger. There's some mental breaks in the NHL season, and you see it more important for the young players, and Christmas is one of them. For young players, they kind of come out of that Christmas break a little bit refreshed. Usually it's the All-Star break would be the second one, but also there'd be some young players that kind of fall off. They can come out and give you a month and a half, and then they just wear down. And we think he's headed in the right direction.
Looking at the underlying numbers, Toby's had some really impressive games here for you guys. Just
Yeah.
how much of a boom was that for you guys to be able to get him up and kind of slide in seamlessly with Ekblad out?
Yeah, the important thing for Toby was playing the big block of games in the minors because it's what's been missing. The opportunity, healthy. He's had some injuries that set him back. All those things that kept him out of just playing games. So when he came in, and it's Colorado, that's tough. That's tough for your first game, and it was really, really good. And he has been we're still learning about him. There's still, I can give you some of his characteristics, but I don't know that I can truly define his game for you yet. That's why it's so important that he plays right now.
Where has Anton Lundell's overall game continued to grow?
I don't have to, we don't talk about the basics of the hockey anymore with him, very little. You go back 1 year, God, and certainly 2 years. The difference, last year at this time, he was struggling a little bit, right? He had gone a long stretch without point production. I don't know that he was having a whole lot of fun coming to the rink. Now, I think we have that going on in our room. I've got kind of 4 lines that are pretty excited about playing with each other. I think Carter's Verhaeghe's been good for him. It's a different kind of speed, so it lets him view the game a little bit differently. The reason that it works this year is because we don't think about Anton Lundell in having to learn the basics of hockey. You know, when to be hard, stand under pucks, winning battles, all those kind of things. 2 years ago, we were having a little bit of a party in here when he threw a check, right, like a bump, and now he's a hard player. He's got hands, he can think the game. I think the timing is right for a bunch of things with our group. I think that Benny and Samuel playing together looks really good. I like Carter. Jesper's come in and, you know, is having a career year here, so some of our young players have matured and now they can carry a different kind of player, and we will look differently. I'm not worried's not the right word. I have no long-term fears of our ability to score goals. We just have a whole bunch of new lines playing together, and they are grinding defensively, so that there is that commitment.
You guys
Just in
have-
general, sorry,
Listen, the flight's not for a while.
just in general, out of curiosity, when it comes to young players, is that sometimes the hardest thing to learn, is that you can still be effective even when you're not necessarily cracking the score sheet?
It is almost everything, Jessica. That's how they got here. There's very few 20-year-olds that got to the NHL as defensive players. You just don't see them till they're 24, 25, fully muscled, you know, hard grinding kind of guys. They all came in skilled, and for some, for most, there really isn't anything other than the game. Like they play the game to produce. Then you get to the NHL and you got to do so much more than that. So it's all brand new. There are players there's some players that can never, they don't have the capacity to learn that other part. There's a whole group of them that never have the impetus to do it. They're putting up their points. Their contract says, hey, I'm good right where I am. That job's for somebody else. And then you get, hopefully, and we think what we have with Samuel is somebody who's just learned, who's just bought in, doing all the hard things. Now, Samuel makes a mistake on the ice defensively, I don't think twice about it, because I've seen a block of games of him battling, doing. Everybody makes mistakes. When you get a young, skilled player who's putting numbers up, and his defensive game is terrible, and you're trying to fix that every time he makes a mistake, you almost have to, you know, he's got to sit for a little while, so he learns. But now you're taking away. Nobody likes that when you sit the skilled kids, right? They got to score goals. So what Samuel has done is allowed him to be coached, and then really soon that'll all be done by the players. So he's going to learn way more from Sam Bennett than from me now. The basics are what they are. The standard is what it is. I think he understands that completely. He's going to make some mistakes on the ice, but he'll sit down beside Sam Bennett, and Sam will tell him when it's right or wrong. Like, you got to finish that check, and then that's way better coming from him than from me. Or that was a great play, even though it didn't work. Do it again.
You see that in Philadelphia, right? Torts and
Yeah, there's
he's been shooting
right.
because he's like the kid. He's just not getting the defensive side of it.
Right, and there's a lot to it. Like, this isn't a 10-minute meeting and you got it figured out. Some of it is just experiences. You got to make some mistakes and you got to put back on the ice. You also need a break from it sometimes. These young guys, like they get into 3 or 4 games where it's not happening. They need one off, right? The really good young players will give you a 1 and 4 really good games, and then it gets to 2, and as they hit that 23, 20, you know, and then you get the rarities, the top end guys, the Barkovs, where from a systematic point of view, they're giving you a 7 or 8 out of 10 are right on. But Samuel has got the intensity part. He's so much further ahead on the intensity part than I thought he would be at this time.
Does it help that he played a couple years in college and then was here and played in the minors? So he's got.
I think the minors, yes. George, I think that really helps players. It's a huge jump from college to pro hockey. It's not as much, I don't think, from major junior. There's still great places. It makes complete sense for some players to play college and then some players to play major junior. A lot of time the guys come out of junior, they've run 82 game schedules or 76 game schedules, they get it. But the American Hockey League is a really good league, and it's a hard league, and you've got to drive yourself. A lot of these kids go from pretty full buildings to not as many in the American League, so you got to drive yourself. They play 3-3. Oh, it's hard, right? So having a year in the American League, I think, is incredibly important for the long-term development of a player.
I wanted to ask about the schedule just real quick. I know you've got set 2 back-to-backs, but you've got 2 days in between, not much travel. I mean, is this as good as you could ask for that kind of a situation where you're?
I'll tell you, I mean, I'll tell you in a couple of weeks, but I've done this for a while and I've never seen it before. I've never seen a 4-game road trip on double back-to-backs with 2 days off in between. So I don't ever remember it. We have looked at our compete levels really in our back-to-back games as a very important indicator for us. It's not going to be the win-losses. We're going to play good teams on back-to-back straight through the regular schedule. And well, I like the way we play on back-to-back nights. It's not pretty. Our goalie's going to have to be real good. But that fighting through that is a lot more like playoff hockey than, you're playing at home for 3 and you got every second day off. These will be hard, and you're not winning them playing a loose game. The other team's just got an advantage on you. So these can be great for us. They can really, really be the thing that pushes us through.
And lastly, you being the big football fan, Notre Dame or Ohio State?
Well, it's Notre Dame.
Huh?
Well, I got a little issue here. Conflict of interest. I lived in Columbus for a couple of years. Actually, my family did. I think I was there for 3 months, but then my kid went to Notre Dame, right? Yeah, it's Notre Dame. Got it. And you know what? I went to the Orange Bowl. It was my very first college football game that I've ever been to.
Which one? Which game? Which last
Notre Dame. Yeah, the one here.
one? Oh, yeah, okay, you were there.
It was awesome.
It was fun, right?
You know what? What was awesome about it was before it starts, and they do the national anthem, and the teams come on the field, and there's this juice in that building, right? And it made you feel like the playoffs again. And it hadn't. You can't recreate that. You can watch it on TV, but when you sit in the, so I'm 5 minutes. I don't know anything about football. I'm at the refs. I'm yelling at the quarterback. I'm into it, right? And I had a great kind of deja vu at that game. And my son was actually interning for the Orange Bowl committee, so we kind of got wrapped up in the whole thing, and it's his alma mater. It was a great night, kind of a bit of a smile. So now I'm hoping we can catch some when we get in, and I'm watching NFL yesterday and tape the other games. I'm getting to be a bit of a football junkie, but I don't know anything about football, anything.
Tailgate or what?
No.
Oh, that's the fun thing.
No, I'm not there yet. I'm still getting all the names of the teams down.
Alex, did you have any? No, I'm good. Thank you.
Yeah, you can ask. I'm not going anywhere.
No, a couple of them got covered.
Okay. Now, how does that work with you guys? Do you pay each other for that stuff, or is that?